Jaya Shrivastava, and welcome to my channel. This is my first video and it's going to be my summer reading wrap-up. So it's going to be all the books I've read so far into the summer, and I'm going to tell you which books I read and what I think about them. So let's get started. Okay, so this video is going to be in two parts. I have read 15 books so far into the summer, and some of them are on paper and the rest are on my Kindle, which is super awesome, by the way. Look at it. I have like Percy Jackson stickers on it because I'm a big Percy Jackson fan. So if you like Percy Jackson, there's definitely going to be a lot of me talking about Percy Jackson at some point on this channel. So please stay if you like Percy Jackson, because I need more people to Percy Jackson rant with. So yeah, just saying. I love my Kindle. Anyway, so like I said, half my books, or not half, but most of my books are on paper and then the other half are on the Kindle. So I'm gonna do 8 books in this video and then 7 books in part 2. Okay, so here is the first set of books I'll be talking about. So let's start with book 1. Also, these books aren't in a particular order, I'm just kind of listing them off as I go. And most of these are also from my school library, so I don't actually own a lot of these, but I do have a couple that are actually part of my collection. So first up is These Deadly Prophecies by Andrea Tong, or Tang, I'm not sure how it's pronounced. But this is fantasy, it's a fantasy and a murder mystery. So think of like Knives Out. I love Knives Out, by the way, it's amazing. Knives Out and the Inheritance games, think of that, but think magic with witches and wizards. So it's kind of all 3 of those things going on. So it's your like classic murder mystery Inheritance, except there's lots of sorcery going on. So if those sound appealing to you, you should definitely check this one out. This is about a girl named Tabitha Zhang, who is an apprentice for this sorcerer named Sorcerer Solomon, and he is a prophet. And one day he predicts his own death, and when it actually comes true, Tabitha is caught like in between everything, and the police think that she did it, but they don't really know what happened. So this book follows like Tabitha and her journey with a couple other characters that you'll meet later on in the book, because I don't want to spoil. Follows Tabitha and her journey trying to figure out what happened to Sorcerer Solomon and trying to prove her innocence and trying to say that, okay, you know, I didn't actually kill this guy. And there's obviously, if it's like the Inheritance game, there's obviously a big inheritance going on. So yeah, I would give this probably like a 4 out of 5. It was pretty good. It was a really short read for me because I read pretty fast. This book was, let me just double check how many pages it is. It was oh my god, this is a lot of pages. This was 244 pages. So this was like a day's read for me. If you're a fast reader, you'll definitely get through this one really quickly. This also has a awesome review on the top by one of my favorite authors, Marie Lu, and it says, an incredibly fun thrill ride by a masterful storyteller. And this is also, yeah, Marie Lu, I love her. So if you've heard of any other Marie Lu books, she put a good review on this one, so read this one. There's lots of reviews on this one, actually. Yeah, that's book 1. The next book is The Rose Society by Marie Lu. This is actually the second book to a trilogy, and the first book is The Young Elites, so I'll put a photo of that up here. And Marie Lu has recently become one of my favorite authors. I read a book by her called Stars and Smoke. It's like spies and art heist kind of thing. So if you like those, you should also check out Stars and Smoke, which I will also put a photo of. And this book is really different from a lot of fantasies you will read. I think this whole series is a little different because the main character of this book, Adelina, she's like not a goody two-shoes like most characters are in fantasies, like most main characters are. She doesn't do some great things, and she's kind of like a morally gray character. And in book 1, she starts off like as a normal girl, and then she discovers that she has magic, and then she bands with this group of people to try and like bring power back to other people that have magic like her. And book 2 is just following and continuing the rest of that story. So now Adelina has turned into a not so great person. She's done some bad things. And she doesn't have like that great of a moral compass, but I thought it was really refreshing to be able to read from a character's perspective that wasn't like perfectly good, because I don't really like in books when the main character is just like perfect, and I thought it was cool to see some like humanity and some actual like conflict between like the main character and the actions that she's making. So I really like this book. I would give this like a 3 out of 5 because the second book, it kind of got better at the end. It wasn't as interesting in the beginning, but I think the first book of the series was definitely my favorite, but it was still a really good read. And if you're interested in reading books where the main characters aren't perfect, you should definitely check out this series because I think you would really like it. This is book 3 of the same series, The Young Elites. This one is The Midnight Star, also by Marie Lu, obviously. And this is, again, more about Adelina's story, and in this one, I can't say what I was about to say because that's a spoiler for book 2, all of book 2, really. Basically, some old things resurface in this novel, and basically the entire world could end in this book, and Adelina has to, overcome her fears, overcome her hatred, and her, distaste for some other people that she's developed, a dislike for in the first 2 books, and she has to work with them to try and save the world again. Disclaimer, this book is not a happily ever after. There's not a happily ever after, so if that's what you're looking for, maybe be a little wary when you pick this one up, but it still had a pretty good, nice wrapped up ending. This book kind of gives, the ending of this book is kind of like the ending of Divergent, not the first book, the entire series. So just a bit of a disclaimer. No spoilers though, I didn't actually spoil what you thought I did with that ending of just Divergent thing. But I really like book 3. Book 1 and book 3 were probably my favorites of the series because book 3 has a lot going on, and when all of the characters come together, I thought it was way, way cooler. Instead of just focusing on Adelina, it got to be focused on her and a bunch of the other characters that you meet in book 1 and that you don't really hear about in book 2, and it goes into a lot of these characters' backstories, which I love backstories. Backstories are super great. So this one, I would give this a 4 out of 5, same as book 1 of the series. So definitely check this out if you're into fantasy and some slightly morally gray characters. This book, oh my gosh, We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. Oh my goodness. So good. This is a psychological thriller. I know all my books have been fantasy so far, but this is a psychological thriller. I love psychological thrillers. They're so, so, so good. I love a good book that makes me think and makes me go crazy. And this book had one of those crazy plot twists where I wanted to throw this at the wall. I read once, okay, I'm stuttering. How do I explain this? There's one page in this book, and everything changes just in 2 sentences. The entire plot changes. It's the biggest plot twist, one of the biggest plot twists I've ever read. It's really, really good. Also, this is turning into a show. I'm not sure when it's coming out, but I know they just announced the casting for all the characters in this book, and they are working with the author, E. Lockhart, so I'm really excited to watch this show as well. So this is about a girl named Cadence Sinclair, and she's rich. Her family's rich, they've got big money. Okay, not her specifically. Her family's rich, they've got big money. And also, one thing, this book has a lot of family things going on. So one thing I found super helpful was that this book has a family tree in the beginning, the Sinclair family tree, and I was looking at this every other page. So yeah, Cadence, right down there, that's her. So the main character of this book is Cadence, and she got into an accident. She has brain injury or like anyway, she just got into an accident, and this story is about her trying to figure out the events that led up to her accident, how she got into the accident, why the accident happened, like what were the circumstances, because she doesn't remember anything about it. And every summer, Cadence and her family is invited to a private island to, you know, like have a vacation with the rest of her cousins and her grandparents. And while she's there, she's trying to figure out what happened to her, because her accident happened to her at the same private island. So she's working with her cousins and all of her other family members to try and figure out what happened to her during this accident. Beware, this story is crazy. Like, I wanted to throw this at the wall. This is a 5 out of 5 psychological thriller. Like, I loved this. I cannot wait for the show. There's also a prequel to this book called Family of Liars, which I will put up here as well. So good. If you love psychological thrillers and mystery and suspense and plot twists that make you go crazy, please check this out. This is obviously a New York Times bestseller. It's crazy, like really crazy, and I loved it so much. So please read this. I need to talk to more people about this book. It's amazing. Please read this. Okay, now let's move on to my Kindle books. Okay, so I have the Kindle, and I'm going to be talking about 4 Kindle books in this part of the video, and then part 2 will have the other 3 that I read on the Kindle. So this book that I read was a reread, like a triple reread actually. I've read this book for the 3rd or 4th time now. The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is a classic book talk book. Really Knives Out. If you love Knives Out, you're gonna love this book. And also, I just saw that this book has a review by E. Lockhart on it, who's the same author that wrote this book. So this is your vibe. This is your vibe also. But also, this is more of a psychological thriller, and this is a, like, normal mystery. Not normal by any means. It's really good. So this is about a girl named Avery Grams, and she inherits a large sum of money from a total stranger. She has no idea why she was given the money or like what the reasons for it were, but she just has this money now. And this is kind of the story of her trying to navigate being rich and being famous. And I know it sounds kind of like snobbish, but it's really not. But while she's trying to figure all of this stuff out, she's also trying to figure out why she was given the money. This book has tons of riddles, tons of plot twists, lots of tension, lots of banter. So this is great. This is like a 5 out of 5. I loved this book the first time I read it, and I loved it all the other times I've read it as well. And one thing about this book is I don't usually reread mysteries because the like feeling of, oh my god, what's going to happen next is gone. But with this book, every time I read it, I find something new. I'm like, oh wow, I didn't realize the author did this too. So this is a trilogy, the Inheritance Games series. There's the Inheritance Games, the Hawthorne Legacy, and then the Final Gambit. I've heard that they're all really great. I mean, I'm sure they are. And this, like I said, 5 out of 5. 5 stars for this one. I think there were stories this was going to turn into an adaptation on TV or movie at some point. I don't know where they're going with that. This might be old news, but if it does turn into a show or movie, I'd be really excited to see this. And Jennifer Lynn Barnes has written a lot of amazing other books, like the Natural series, which I could spend an entire video on. Amazing series. But yeah, that's book 1 that I read on the Kindle, because I just felt like doing a mystery reread, so that's one of the ones I read. And then another one I read, also I read this on Kindle Unlimited. So if you don't have Kindle Unlimited, this costs $10.99. But I'm on a free trial right now, so if I was able to just read it normally. Okay. Other book I read, very popular book talk book as well. I'm waiting for it to load so I can show you the cover. Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. This is a New York Times bestseller. This is a fantasy about 2 characters, Iris Winnow and Roman. I don't want to say his last name because it's kind of a spoiler. This is a dual POV, and this has like some mythology going on. I don't know if it's based off like actual mythology, but there is like gods and goddesses involved in the story of this. So it's a story about 2 writers who are reporting on the front lines about this war that's going on in their realm right now, and there's lots of like plot twists and tension and banter. We love that. And yeah, so this is book one. It's a duology. I can't really say too much about this because everything I'm thinking of would spoil it, so I don't want to say too much, but this is a great fantasy. It's really popular as well, and read this if you like dual POVs, which I usually hate dual POVs. Actually, no, I don't mind dual POVs. It's when it gets to like more than 2 people. There's always like one character that it's like, I don't want to know about your perspective. Kind of like Jason Grace in Heroes of Olympus. I just didn't enjoy Jason Grace's perspective that much. I just like, where's Percy? I don't care about Jason Grace. But anyway, this is not like that. This has like good dual perspective. All the characters are written so well, and it's clear that the author put a lot of thought when she wrote these characters. So this is just a great story. Like, it's very heartfelt and touching. So this would be like a 4 out of 5. 4 out of 5 stars for me. Not one of the best fantasies I've read, but it was still really awesome. And then book two is Ruthless Vows. Again, Rebecca Ross. I liked book 2 a bit more than book 1, which is kind of rare. But I really did like it. This is still following the stories of Iris Winnow and Roman as they try to piece together and kind of save the world in this war that they're in. They're not soldiers, they're reporters, they're writers, journalists. Really cool story. So I think I would give the second one a 5 out of 5. I really liked book 2. And again, I also read both of these on Kindle Unlimited, but if you don't have Kindle Unlimited, these cost $12.99 on the Kindle. I don't know about like paper, but I think Kindle prices are different than paper prices. They're usually cheaper. Sometimes they're more expensive depending on how new the novel is, but both of these series are $12.99. I mean, both of these books are $12.99 each. And then another super popular book I read this year was Shadow and Bone. There's lots of covers to this one, but I like this cool one with the like stag on it. This is Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. This is also a trilogy. I have book 2 right here, actually. I haven't read it yet. I'm going to. So book 1 is Shadow and Bone. Book 2 is Siege and Storm. Book 3 is like Ruin and Rising, I believe. I'll put it up there. And also there's a TV show on this book series. It's on Netflix. It's by the same name, Shadow and Bone. I've heard really good things about it, and it got a season 2, so it must be pretty great if it got renewed. Before I forget, Shadow and Bone, this is another Kindle Unlimited book. Kindle Unlimited is real helpful, guys, if you're a big reader like me. If you don't have Kindle Unlimited, this is $9.99 on the Kindle. Again, I don't know about paperback, but $9.99 on the Kindle. Okay, so part 1 of my summer reading wrap-up is officially over. I did all 8 books, and then part 2 is going to have the other 7 that I've read. So I hope you enjoyed part 1 of this video, and hope you got some really great book recommendations out of this. And if you do end up reading some of these books, please let me know what you think about them, because I love talking about books to people, so please let me know what you think. And thank you for watching.